Jolea, welcome back to Coaches on a Mission. It's been a minute, and
It has.
I got to brag about you, not myself. Um, you put in your notice like very recently, and by the time this episode airs, you are going to be a full-time business owner, and that is so rad. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm excited to be what a colleague called a liberated leader.
Yeah,
So I
it
love it.
suits you.
Yeah,
It's
I'm so
great.
ready.
Yeah. Okay, so now we're so ready. We've got a lot to tackle and actually some bandwidth to do it. So, I want to give everyone a little bit of context because I actually invited you to come on the show. And that invitation was sparked by a conversation we had inside the Hive. Another Hive member, Christine, was like, I think I want to bring back Tupperware parties. Or maybe I said it doesn't matter. But so we got this idea of how do we leverage referrals in order to fill up your membership. And that sparked something in you. So could you just take a minute, fill our listeners in on what your offer is and what about this Tupperware party model inspired you? And then we'll get down to business, ironing out a strategy for you.
Yeah, sure. So my new dream client power statement is that I coach and hold healing spaces for Black women and women of color that are leading social change. And so my offering is a monthly membership community. We come together 2 times a month for 2 live 90-minute coaching sessions. And Black women, women of color, they're all leaders in nonprofits or leading social enterprises. And they
Mm-hmm.
come in with their questions on whatever they're working on in the moment or ideas for thought partnership. And so I started that last year when you basically kicked me out of the nest and told me to go start it, which I appreciate so much because it has been an absolute joy to be in
Mm.
community with these women. And so it's been going since, but now that I'm moving into this new season, I'm ready for it to grow and to flourish and to reach more Black women and women of color that need this space for healing and accountability and sisterhood.
Right.
Yeah.
In particular, and correct me if I'm wrong, but what I recall, one characteristic of the people you serve is that they are the space holders. They are leading the charge, and they
Mhm.
often find themselves falling into this isolated experience of if I'm not doing it, it's not getting done. So
Yep.
for them to have a space to be seen and heard and partnered with is exactly what they need. They don't need more work to do. They need thought partnership in a container. Is my understanding accurate?
Yeah, and that's so spot on, Dallas, and that's actually what kind of prompted me to rethink my DCPS. Is that as I've been in community with the folks, I had a whole system in place that I wanted to
Right?
record and do these presentations, and they still have like I those things are happening still, and to your point, what the women in the membership really want is a community, right?
Yeah.
Space where they can come, be themselves, show up however they want or need to show up without judgment, right? And folks who will celebrate and commiserate with them, because yes, they are leading the charge. They're usually either solo um, solo leaders in their organization, meaning they founded the organization and are trying to build it, or they have a small team, less than 10 folks on their team. And so they do wear a lot of responsibilities. And so, really, we support them in moving their organizations forward so in a way that they won't burn out, providing that
Yeah.
space for them.
Right. Right. I want to speak to the audience for just a second. This came up in the Hive. I don't know if you were there on that call or not, but let me just define, in my opinion, the difference between a membership, a course, or a mastermind, because
Hmm.
I think this will actually be helpful for our conversation, but also helpful to our listeners. So, what's the difference? Whether you're delivering a membership, memberships typically are a monthly subscription, it's a lower price point, right? A
Mhm.
course, which has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's usually somewhere between 997 and 1997, or a mastermind, which often is like a year-long uh, coaching container. It doesn't matter what the offer is. Somewhere in each offer, what is being delivered is your signature system.
Mhm.
In a course, it's log in, watch the videos, come to the Q&A, here's the system, right? In a mastermind, it might be done more conversationally or organically. In a membership, it's kind of maybe delivered as needed or on a very high level, right?
Mhm. Yep.
But I want to talk about why people join, because this is what we need to hold in our minds when we think about how the messaging, right? And what we prioritize in the offer. So
Mhm.
people join a membership for community. They're
Yep.
happy to be there to learn, right? That's extra. They love knowing they can get their questions answered, but they are there, number one, for community.
Mhm.
People join a course to learn the thing. They are there to learn. It's great that they can get coaching and okay, cool. There's also a Facebook group, but they are there for the content. And people join a mastermind for the proximity. So I'm going to join a mastermind because of who else is going to be in the room. And I
Mhm.
think just understanding those distinctions can often help a coach when you're deciding everybody what is the best way to deliver my signature system, because sometimes we assume if I'm delivering a membership, that'll be easier because it's cheaper. And that is not the case. It doesn't matter what you're still got to market the thing, right? And sometimes we pick something that we think is easy for us, but it's not the container that our audience most craves. So understanding their motivation, right? We kind of made that, not a mistake. We learned that. We learned that with
Yes.
you.
Yes.
So I just wanted to share that for our listeners because I think it is a really helpful distinction to look at it through a client-centered way. Why are people
Mhm.
there instead of how do I want to build the thing? Okay,
Mhm.
so I feel pretty clear on the container that you have created, and now we want to grow it. I think our goal today is to take this old school idea of a Tupperware party, right? And like
Okay.
modernize it. How do we playfully utilize this bring a friend sort of idea to fill your membership? So, what do you want to take away from our conversation today?
Yeah, I now that I'm moving into my liberated leadership, I
Yeah.
definitely have um more capacity. And so in March, I'll be surging. I'll be doing a client surge.
Hmm.
And as part of the surge, I want to out include in my invites and in my ambassador referral requests the language. Like I want to have the right copy and language to clearly articulate what we're doing here with the bring a friend or and thinking about what systems do I need to have on the back end. And
Hmm.
then, maybe even exploring like what are some fun things that I can do with my email list or my very small social media following, like what are some things that I could do with with the communities that I already have.
Yeah, I love it. I'm writing down three things. So, what's the message so that people actually understand what you mean here, right?
Mhm.
And not the
Mhm.
message around the membership, the message around bring a friend, right?
Right, yeah. Mhm.
Number two, what are the systems you need to have in place in order for this to be effective and trackable and easy for everyone involved?
I was just going to say as easeful still as
Yeah.
possible. I
Yeah.
like easy.
Yeah, I just got really nervous. It all felt fun and cool until I said systems, and then I'm like, "Shit, how are we gonna do this?" Okay, and then the third one, I just wrote down the word gamification, like, how can we be playful and
Mhm.
use and gamify the process as a way to inspire people and keep it light and fun for you?
Yep. I
Okay,
like that for
great.
sure.
So, this is just you and me talking. Nothing's going out into the wild just yet. Explain what your vision is. Like, explain to me, bring a friend.
Okay, so when I'm sending out direct invites,
Mhm.
I have a list of folks that I'm sending direct invites to in March. I want to be able to say to them, like, this is your time to join, because guess what? If you join in March, you can also bring a friend, or, you can invite a friend to test out the membership for a month or something to that effect. And
Yep.
that's another thing I need to get clear on. Like, what are they gonna the friend what is the friend gonna do? Is it a month? Is it 2 weeks? Are they gonna have access to all parts? Like, what does that look like too?
Yeah.
But basically, I would like to be able to say that in my direct invites and in the request to ambassadors.
Got it. So what you're doing here is creating legitimate urgency. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not a fan of just like making up urgency, but this is legitimate urgency in the month of March or whatever your dates end up being. When you join the membership, it's always better together. You can bring a friend for free. Now you both
Mm-hmm.
get to go through the experience and decide if it fits into the support system you're seeking.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Great. Okay, that
That's
feels
it.
clear. Wow.
Okay.
Okay. So, if we think about the direct invites, here's what I'm envisioning.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me how this lands for you, Jolea. Part one is here's my mission, right? That's being delivered inside of this community. It's
Mm-hmm.
like 3 sentences, and we can outline it in a second.
Mm-hmm.
Part two, here's why you need to join now. Part three, here's how you'll feel inside the community when you join now with a friend.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I like it.
Now, something that, and we talk about this a little bit in Client Surge, but I see it being incredibly effective. If you've ever like gone to the grocery store and the local elementary school is doing a fundraiser and they've got that thermostat on the wall tracking how close they're getting to their goal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Boy, they get close to that goal and I'm more inspired to help them cross the finish line. Right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know if you've
Mm-hmm.
had this experience, but if you ever log into a GoFundMe campaign and someone is over their goal, this is sick,
Yeah.
but I'm actually more inspired to contribute. What is that, by the way?
I don't know. It's our brains. I don't know what's going on. We want to be like others.
Yeah.
We want to
Yeah,
be with the cool
right? Oh my
kids.
gosh. Yeah, it's that permission structure, but it's also I don't know, it's fun to watch people race past the finish line, I guess, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So what you're doing here by saying my suggestion is let's attach a goal to this. So in the month of March, my goal is to welcome, I'm pulling this number out of the sky, 65 Black women and women of color leading social change into this program, and I need your help.
You went way up in the sky for that one. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Go big.
Well, the number needs to be 51% believable for you. Because if I'm at the grocery store and I'm looking at that thermometer and like it's just the round ball on the bottom that's red, like they haven't done much yet, it's somewhere in my psychology, I'm like, all right, let's see how this goes.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's got to be believable to you.
Yeah.
Um,
But it also has
so,
to be a bit of a stretch, right?
yeah.
So, because
Hmm.
the number when you were talking, I kind of figured where you were going, and the number that came up for me was 30.
Okay.
But 65 could be, sh- let's sit maybe in the middle. Let's say 45.
Oh my gosh. That's what I was like, let's split the difference. Yeah. Okay. Great. Great.
Yeah.
Okay. So, should we outline the message around this? Would that be helpful?
Yes, very.
Okay, great. So I'm going to let you lead, but here's the formula, right? The formula is share the goal, right? And the
Mhm.
goal for you and the mission of the membership, what it's there to do.
Mhm.
Okay. Step
Mhm.
number two was the why now. Step number three, how they'll feel with their friend in March, right? Inside the membership.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to just brainstorm, we're not getting it right here, but if you were to just talk through what that invitation might look like, what would you say?
I would say something along the lines of, um, I think I would probably reuse some of the language, the copy from the membership
Sales page?
page, sales
Yep.
page, right? And so I'm thinking, what are the goals here? We're here for three main reasons, right? We want to offer thought partnership and accountability. We want to
Mhm.
give you access to lots of tools and resources that are plug and play to take that stuff off of your plate. And sisterhood and solidarity, right? So, like,
Yeah.
those are the three buckets. And that's our goal, is to create space for you to have those three things so you don't feel like you're going at this alone, and don't burn yourself out.
Perfect. Great. I'm reaching out because my goal is to welcome 45 Black women and women of color leading space or leading change or holding space for, help me,
Yeah, leading social change.
leading social change, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Into my program before March 31st.
Yep.
What's the program? We do three things.
Mhm.
You mentioned those three things.
Yep.
Now we shift to, and I need your help. So
Yeah.
here's why you should join us in March. So take me through the here's the Tupperware party part of it, right? So
Yeah. Mhm.
why should a Black woman or woman of color leading social change join you in March?
I think it's the same reason as why they would join me any other,
It is,
which
except they can
except,
literally bring a friend for free.
yeah, that's why.
That's why, right?
That's one right, like, that's why in March, right? That speaks to the in
Yes.
March piece, because you can bring a friend in March. Yeah.
Yes.
And the other pieces is just about, come, you know, enjoy this space with other folks who are on the same journey with you, who get it, right? Who understand where you are, where you've been, where you are, where you're going, right? And
Mhm.
want to celebrate you, um, and be partners in the work that you're doing, right?
Yes.
Um, but in March, bring a friend.
But in March, bring a friend. I just
Yeah.
got a wild idea. So, normally with Client Surge, what we do is invite people into a sales call. What if March was the sales call? You're probably already thinking about this, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
is there a world, Jolea, where, and this might help the systems be cleaner, where in March you can join and it's whatever your monthly investment is. Let's just say it's $100, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, but if you bring a friend, you can both join for free. So now people are just joining. With the way we position this is, come, you're busy, right? Come, experience the thought leadership, the support, the accountability. Do it alongside another woman on a similar mission. And you've got the whole month of March to decide how this container fits into your life and to the work that you're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
what if everybody, if you bring a friend, you both get it for free? So the idea
Yeah.
here is, like, could we actually get 65 women joining, planning on 45 of them staying? And then you don't have
I
to do
love that.
sales calls or anything like that.
I love that. And it's so funny you mentioned that, because I know you follow Trudy LeBron,
Mhm.
and she's doing something very similar with her exchange program this month. So in February, she's offering it for free, or like
Mhm.
portions of it for free, to anybody. And so I was like, I want to do that. And in my mind, I said, I'll do that in August.
Oh, let's just do it in March. It actually is easier for someone to understand. Now I'm
Mm-hmm.
way more incentivized to bring my girlfriend along because if she doesn't come, I'm paying. If she comes,
Mm-hmm.
neither of us are paying,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And now this is I call this experiential marketing. Now we don't have to decide like what do people get and what don't they get. They're in. You're just delivering the hell out of this program in March and letting people experience in order to decide if they'd like to stay.
Okay, so a couple of things that are coming up for me. One, do those folks get access to the whole thing? Okay.
It's
Second,
your generosity that inspires. It's your generosity that inspires.
yeah. Okay. That makes sense. And it feels easier too in terms of systems and stuff, not to have to segment and do all that kind of stuff.
Totally.
Um, I wonder, you know how, people with free stuff,
Mhm.
if they'll actually take advantage of the calls and things like that, knowing that they're not paying for it.
Yeah, so that is a risk that we run for sure.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
feel like the mission that you are driving here and the message around this invitation it isn't framed as it's free, come, right? Free pizza. That's not what we're doing,
Mhm.
right?
Right.
Instead, it's like you need thought partnership. This is the mission that I am on. I know you are also leading social change. So it's you don't have to position it to be come because it's free. Come because it matters. And by the
Right.
way, it's free
This month.
this month.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Then the third thing that came up for me is I'll be surging in March. Should I be
Yeah.
doing this piece
This is your
in
surge.
this
No,
is the
this is your
surge?
surge.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
inviting people in, no sales calls, no conversations, no credit cards are being pulled out. You're inviting people in, they register, they're in, right?
Mhm.
And we
And
have to
whether
talk
they
about what the conversion looks like on the other side, but go ahead.
so if they join March 15th,
Yep.
then I give them access through April 15th.
What do you think about I'm hesitating
Yeah.
because wonder because then if the deadline is March 30th for everybody, right?
Mhm.
You've got one message, you can talk about it on all the calls. We're all on the same bus, right?
Yeah.
If it's
Right.
you're somewhere in your 30-day process, I feel like there's less energy around it. So, if someone joins the 29th, they're going to decide on the 30th. But I think
Mhm.
that's so if I'm picturing that thermometer at the top of there's a deadline to reach that goal. I think it would be very powerful to have the same deadline. And you can think about that timeline, right? And maybe it ends up being 5 weeks instead of 4 or something like that to give you time to get
Mhm.
people in. Um,
Mhm.
but I think there's something powerful about the clean message of everyone does like, are you staying or going on April 1st?
Yeah. I like the cleanness of that. It feels like
Mhm.
less work for sure on my part, right? Like I can imagine that being a nightmare trying to keep track of 30 days for folks. And I agree about the sort of collective energy
Yeah,
around, yeah. Cause then you have girlfriends talking to each other like, girl, you gotta join by March 30, like
completely. Instead of
what
like,
are you
how many
doing?
more days do you have until right? It's like
Exactly.
we're all
Exactly.
deciding. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking about the person who's listening, thinking, oh, I don't give things away for free, right? Or that's desperate, or my coach told me never to do that. Okay, right?
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
and any decision we make, as long as we're being thoughtful about the decision and we're running that decision through the tape, it's not about
Right.
just giving things away for free. It's all right, how am I going to save myself time? How am I going to keep this simple? How am I going to really, with a membership, it's a volume game. How am I really
Mhm.
going to get enough volume in here without having to talk to people one on one? So it actually isn't free for them, it's free for you. Look at how much time and energy you're saving by positioning it this way.
Mhm. Yes, and that's always been a big consideration for me. Like, what do I
Mm,
have the bandwidth? And even though I'm moving into this new season, I'm still trying to be very intentional about maintaining that spaciousness for
yes,
myself. So if this helps me to do that without getting on one-on-one, 15 sales calls a week, I'm here for it.
completely, completely.
Yes.
And if I'm joining a membership because of the community, being in the community is gonna help me decide way better than being on a one-on-one call with you.
Yep.
Okay,
Mhm.
cool. So the last piece on this invitation is how you're gonna feel in March with your friend. So here's the
Mhm.
mission, right? My goal is 45 people. Here's the mission of the membership. Why do you need to join me now? You can join anytime. It's $100. That's my number, not Jolea's. Everybody, and if you join with a friend, it's free for you both. So join
Mhm.
now because this like March 1st or April 1st, we're all gonna soar together through the rest of the
Mhm.
year.
Mhm.
So, how
Mhm.
am I gonna feel doing it with a friend? What's the experience I'm gonna have?
It's kind of what's coming up for me is the conversation we had when we were reviewing my sales page. And
Mhm.
at the bottom, I say it's like being in the soul tray line with your cousins at the family reunion. So
Yes.
what's coming up for me is like, it's like being in Cabo and with not during a category 2 hurricane,
Right. Any other time.
any other time. But like being somewhere with your girlfriends and y'all are just vibing and having a good time and growing together,
Yes.
right?
Which is
So that's the
so different from how they're living their life right now in the work that they're
mhm,
doing.
mhm,
Love it.
mhm. Yeah. So that's what initially came up for me. It was like this visual of just like, beautiful women of color in a
Mhm.
space. I see flying dresses for some reason.
Completely. Yes.
But just like that nourishing feeling you get when you're in community and you're in a place that is just beautiful and freeing. That's the visual that comes up. Then also, if we want to speak practically, it's about
Mhm.
getting clarity. By the end of March, um unless you join March 29th, but maybe if you're a fast learner,
Totally.
getting clarity about your vision, the vision for your organization, programming, how you engage with community, like being clear on those pieces that help build thriving organizations.
Right. Or even let's lighten the promise, right?
Yes. Yeah. Not all
Being
that in
clear
March.
being clear about how, if at all, this program will support them in their mission.
Yeah.
You wanna give them the experience so that they can decide how it fits for them.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that did feel like a pretty heavy promise.
Well, it
You'll
just
be
feels
clear
like
about
work,
everything.
right? Just feels like a
Yeah.
lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
great. So I think we have
Mhm.
the message. Do you feel clear enough about the message for the invitation?
Yes. The message
Okay,
for the
great.
invitation.
Yep.
Yes.
So, I've got a goal. So here's my goal and the mission of my program. Here's
Mhm.
why you need to join us in March.
Mhm.
Here's how you're gonna feel inside the program.
Mhm.
Okay, let's talk about the systems. So how's this gonna work? When I
Yeah.
join now, what is that enrollment on the tech side? Like, where am I filling in my credit card? Take me through what systems you're using and what that looks like.
Yeah. So I'm super low tech. And so I have a page set up on Stripe and folks
Mhm.
put in their folks put in their card and it immediately puts them into the subscription, right? And so it becomes a monthly thing, um, from starting from the day that they input their credit card.
Yes.
So I would need to think through how So would I want to still do that and maybe just delay, right? Delay the payment for a month and it
Mhm.
goes automatically unless they say I don't want to join?
Yeah. And so we just wanna make it crystal clear for folks that you're not gonna trap them, because that's the fear, like, "Oh, it's free? Sure, it's free, and I'm never gonna be able to talk to a person or find the invisible link where I can cancel." So I
Mhm.
think that this is really narration, right? So join us. Here's how that works. You're gonna sign up, enter in your credit card information. I will not automatically charge your card without your authorization, right? We will be in communication. You do not have to worry. I'm going to do it manually. I would even go that far, but then
Yep.
explain, but the only way you actually get access to the program, this is how you register. So then on
Mhm.
the backside of that, starting about 10 days before, so starting around March 20th, if that ends up being your 30-day window, you're
Mhm.
dropping sales emails essentially, right? You're 10 days left to decide.
Okay.
If you're already a yes, click here. If you have questions, reply back and let me know,
Yes.
right? And then you're just, using the flash sale, a version of the flash sale protocol, reminding them of what they get and why this community is important, being available to answer their questions, counting down until the day that they're charged. I would recommend not charging people until they've authorized it. It's just like less gross.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you're
And
gonna
so
be
then
yeah.
if you get
Mhm.
to the day and you've been reaching out to folks, you're not getting response, just kind of drop it off. Like don't even.
No, no, it's like, "Ugh, I'm so sad you're leaving,"
Yeah, okay. Got
right?
it. Yeah.
Tomorrow, like, we say goodbye tomorrow,
Uh-huh.
right? And
Got
then
it.
the day after, it's like, "We're so sad to see you go. Here's April's schedule in case you change your mind."
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I just think with what your mission is and who your customer is, and because we're leveraging word of mouth referrals, my intuition is telling me that this is actually going to convert better than first month free and you got to cancel yourself. People are just going to be hesitant around that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this is not high volume. You're gonna be so present in the community, and a lot of these people are gonna be people you know or people who know someone you know. You're in such relationship with them. I think this aligns.
yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's intended, I don't want it to be this massive membership anyway. Like I think in general the max that I of members would be somewhere between 100 to 150, right? So I
Right.
want it to always be in like an intimate space. Um and yeah, you're right that in some ways I could probably everyone that comes in, I could probably reach out and touch them in like two or three people, right?
Completely.
Um
Yeah.
yeah. So it's really
Okay.
what's happening here is we're talking about trust building,
Mhm. Mhm.
like allowing people to experience the membership so that they can build trust in me, right, as facilitator of this space and also in the community,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
And also for you, it's trust building for the program to trust the members. What better way to curate
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
community of the right air quotes,
Right,
right?
folks.
Of
Yeah.
aligned people.
Aligned. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Love
So
it.
the to-do items, I think this is gonna be the simplest for systems too, is you'll just wanna make sure your language around Stripe is crystal clear.
Hmm.
Can you customize a Stripe form where you say, "What's the first and last name of the friend you're joining with?" So they can join
Yes.
separately, right? They can join
Hmm.
separately, but then they're just like sharing their buddies' names. So it's a little bit of the honor system, but the more the merrier. It's totally cool, right?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Great. So updating the language around Stripe, making sure that your Stripe registration form asks that question, and then building out the reminder The party's just getting started. It really we're next leveling it come April, that email series.
Yeah. Mhm.
Great. Can you think of any other system pieces we need to talk about?
No, we already the only other thing that I was thinking about we've already touched on, which was the sort of sales what that workflow that messaging would be. And then I guess yeah, so then once folks actually joined, I'll just need to make sure that they get zapped into the welcome sequence.
Yep. Yep, but that
Yeah.
should already be happening if they're joining through Stripe. And
Yeah.
then you'll
No,
just
they
wanna
are. Yeah.
mhm,
Okay.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then you'll just wanna, be this is the manual piece, right? Keep your eyes on Stripe so that no one gets charged accidentally, right? So
Yeah.
you go in and you pause their subscription indefinitely as soon as it
Mhm.
happens, essentially, as long as
Yeah.
that doesn't mess with their course access.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, great.
It
And
doesn't.
then as people confirm, as they opt in, you turn their subscription on accordingly.
Got it. Okay. You mentioned, I want to make sure I'm clear what you said. You mentioned that about creating a field in Stripe where I can ask who's the friend that you're bringing along,
Mhm.
and you mentioned the honors. Can you say that part again about the
Yeah.
honor system?
I don't think it's worthwhile to spend energy tracking, right? So, ooh, Dallas, she said Betty Rubble. Who's Betty Rubble? Dallas is lying, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, no, I just think everybody's on the honor system. You're making it really clear. Join with a friend, right? You're going to ask them
Got it.
those names, and we're just going to trust people. This is our strategy for getting more bodies in the membership. So I don't think you have
Mhm.
to get granular or burden them with having to register together or anything like that. It's just a field. Like, what's the first and last name
Okay.
of your friend who's also joining?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Does that feel aligned for you, Jolea?
It does. Am I also asking for the friend's email?
Well, the friend is also joining. So if I'm joining with a real person instead of Betty Rubble,
Betty
right? So
Rubble. Yeah.
me and my
Uh-huh.
friend Sasha Jones are joining. Sasha's going to
Okay.
join and put my name. I'm going to join and put her name.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Should I be a stickler about just one friend?
The more the merrier, right? Like, shouldn't you reward people if they're bringing more friends?
This is true. Because it's free. They're not. Got it. Okay. Yeah.
And we're creating this community. So
Mhm.
who would like to be in the community? The more the merrier.
Yeah. The more the merrier. Got it. Okay. That
Great.
feels right.
So let's talk for a minute about the gamification piece within your community. Tell me more about what you were feeling into or envisioning around this.
I don't know that I really had any thoughts. I like to be fun and joyful. That's part of like my thing. And so, um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have any ideas around it. That's what I wanted to do is explore what would be some fun ways to sort of share it with my current email list.
Mhm.
Which that it's going to be different than a direct invite. It's like my email list, but also social media.
Yeah. So inside of Client Surge, we have templates to get you started, right?
Mhm,
There's that
mhm,
whole marketing track on messages to your list. And there's
mhm.
that whole 30-day social media
Right,
posting prompts. So
right.
let's start with that. And what's coming up for me is two things: leaning in to the soul train line with your cousins, right?
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
And leaning into the thermostat on the wall,
Okay.
right? Especially on social. I remember
Mhm.
seeing a coach, this was a couple years ago. Suddenly in my feed, I kept seeing posts from her saying things like, if I sign 3 more clients this month, I'm going to have $100,000 month. help me reach that goal. If you've been thinking about hiring me, please do it now and help me reach that goal. And people were into it, and
Mhm.
she exceeded that goal by quite a bit, and she was totally transparent about the goal and what it meant to her and what those numbers actually were. And that's kind of what came up for me, especially for your social strategy and your list emails. We've got this goal of
Mhm.
45, right? And we've got 10 more to go. So help me out. Help me reach this goal. If you are a woman of color leading change, or you know someone, share this. Let's
Yeah.
cross the finish line together.
Yeah. I can see it for like my email list. I can see it being a part, I do what I do at the top with the content, but having this part at the bottom of like, are you following what's happening here? And each week
Yeah.
kind of just updating. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think that's
Mhm.
great. And even looking in Canva for some sort of version of that
The
GoFundMe
thermometer.
graphic
Yeah.
or the
Yep. Yep. Yep.
thermometer, something like that.
Yep. Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
people would be
Okay.
into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially if you think about the people you serve, a lot of them are working in nonprofits. What they do is raise funds and create community. So you're speaking their language here
Yeah. I was just gonna say most, yeah, they get it. They get it.
completely. Great.
Yeah.
All right. So take me through your next steps around this.
Um so the first I'm gonna go back, review Surge,
Okay.
and make sure that I'm gonna draft my direct invites and my ambassador referral requests with the messaging that we've outlined here.
Yep.
So I'm going to go back, of course, and listen to this recording. But then my next step, I think, is just to draft those direct invites and ambassador referral requests.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
bring them to a Hive call, and we'll go through them. Make sure they're as concise as possible.
Yeah, I
Great.
can be wordy at times.
It's so easy to be wordy.
Yeah.
Um, and then from there, once those core messages are done, then it's just using those as inspiration for all the other messaging.
Yep.
Cool.
Mapping out the
Yep.
social media stuff. Yep.
Great. I'm
Okay.
so excited for you.
Me too. These 100 women that are going to come into the community in the next month. I love it.
Look at what just happened there. I love it. Great. Okay, Jolea, thank you so much for coming on the show. Everyone listening, and myself included, we are sending you light and energy and a lot of success around this. It's really
Thank
exciting.
you. I receive it all. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dallas, so much for your help.
you're welcome.